Welcome back to the show. We are talking with Zoe about dryer cleaning, I guess. And I had mentioned I was starting to ask a question that I got distracted from, but I was talking about how I have had someone come out with HVAC and do like duct cleaning. And so my question is, how is something like that different from having you come out and check the ductwork or, the situation specifically on the dryers?
So the function of a HVAC vent is just to circulate air. And the function of a dryer vent is to get rid of carbon monoxide if you have a gas dryer. And then no matter what kind of dryer you have, the lint and debris that's in the clothes, the heat and the humidity. So if you think about lint and any kind of dust ball, they kind of stick together, and when you add humidity and heat, it'll stick inside the metal vents, which again is important to use the right material so it's sticking less. It's important to install it correctly so it doesn't have corners in it, places that you can start clogs. So HVAC is fine to use just compressed air and sort of blow it out. That will not work with a dryer vent. It might get a little bit of it out, but you really need to use specialized brushes made just for lint. And there are different size brushes. You may have to go from the inside to the top, and then you may have to get on the roof and then go down depending on how the vent is constructed. So it is very different. And we have the ability to take images inside the dryer vent so we can look at before a cleaning and after cleaning and show a home and business owner exactly, what it looks like.
And for a homeowner, or even, during the home buying process, like when a home inspector is coming and inspecting the different aspects, what are the kinds of things that we can actually see? And what are the kinds of things that we can't see and a home inspector might not be able to see?
So most home inspectors really won't inspect the dryer vent, especially to the extent that we can. They might take a peek at the attic. They might take a look on the roof, but we actually go to terminations on the roof, look inside, stick the camera down in there. We're looking for angles. It shouldn't be sharply angled in any attic space that's there, and we're looking for the type of material behind the wall, which we can do with the camera. We move the dryer out. We test the airflow measurements and pressure measurements, both with the dryer hooked up to the vent and with the dryer not hooked up to the vent. So we can tell whether there's a performance issue with the dryer or whether there's a potential clog. And then, of course, the camera can pick up clogs really easily.
And you mentioned a performance issue. So there are some things that might indicate that you have a problem that needs to be addressed.
A lot of times when people say they're having problems with their dryer, it is actually the vent. And so checking the termination, if a homeowner has a sidewall vent that they can check easily, that's something they should be doing regularly. Obviously, it's hard to check on the roof. So checking that termination point where it exits and looking for clogs. You can carefully hold your phone, behind the dryer and take a quick picture to see what's back there. There will be some dust because nobody dusts back there all the time, but you should not see lint or excessive amount of lint back there. That indicates a problem. That hose that goes from the dryer to the wall should be installed correctly. So it shouldn't have loops. There shouldn't be any kinks in it. It shouldn't be crushed at all because that's going to constrict the flow. And again, if it's made out of the wrong material, it's going to crush really easily. And we see a lot of poorly installed vents. There should be very little of the venting back there. It should be as short as distance possible. Warning signs with the dryer include no lint in the lint screen and taking too long to dry clothes. Those often go together. If there's lint on the wrong side of the lint screen, that also indicates a problem. A lot of lint is getting inside the dryer where the electronics are, and that's that's a very dangerous situation. If there's any kind of smoky or moldy smell, that indicates a problem in the vent. If it's blowing a fuse, we've seen that quite often where it blows a fuse and the repairman will say, well, I replaced it, but I don't really see anything electronically wrong with the dryer. Then you should get your vent inspected. So we see a lot of that.
And I'm trying to think of things that have come up on home inspections. And the only things that come to mind are sometimes with those vents that vent straight out, maybe they're not covered and you've got an opportunity for rodents or other pests to come in. And then the only other thing that comes to mind is maybe a vent that is actually venting into the attic rather than all the way out of the house. So have you seen that type of stuff as well?
Yeah, absolutely. There are good ways to pest-proof your vent, no matter where it is, and there are poor ways to pest-proof your vent. So what you don't want, and it's not to building code, you don't want screens on there because within a week you're already starting a clog. So there are much better, but they're a little more expensive, obviously, little better vent covers that use magnets. So the airflow can, release the magnet, let the air out, but then the magnet closes it and your average, rodent can't get in there.
Does the heat and moisture kind of attract them?
In other areas of the country, that is a big, birds will build nests in there in the early spring. It's a little warmer, things like that. In Arizona, with it being so hot, we really don't see a lot of that. We do see some mice, some smaller rodents get in, maybe a few lizards.
How did you end up in this industry? I'm just curious.
So for about 30 years, I've been in medical research and diagnostics because health and safety have been, really important to me. To me, this is just sort of another extension to that. The number of people that tell me, I didn't know you had to worry about your dryer vent, when the fire departments are obviously concerned about it, shows me the need for public education and the opportunity to do things like this so people can learn about it. And then with Dryer Vent Wizard, we can clean and repair, and sometimes we find some really dangerous situations in homes that homeowners were completely unaware of. And so that's just a way to help protect, the community. I mean, I live here. This is my community. I want to keep our neighborhood safe.
Absolutely. And we, coming from a real estate perspective, really appreciate knowing that there are companies out there that can service our clients. So I know you said the best way to get a hold of you is through the website. So go ahead and give us that website again. DryerVentWizard.com. Okay. And if you guys have any questions that you want us to relay, we also can do that. You can email the Johnson Smith at indie-realty.com, and that will come to us here and we can get you guys connected as well.